Today we're going to be discussing the digestive system.
This diagram illustrates the organs in the digestive system.
The digestive system is where all the food that we consume is digested and excreted.
The main functions of the digestive system are to get rid of waste and absorb. What I mean by absorb, I mean by what the foods we eat. If we eat healthy foods, our bodies are going to be able to absorb all the good, healthy, nutritious nutrients, minerals, proteins, fats, and carbohydrates that we need for a day-to-day life. Whatever we don't use, our body gets rid of. Without the digestive system, our body would not be able to absorb the foods we need and get rid of the food we eat, therefore leading us to die. This is the diagram of the mouth. As you can see, it contains the teeth, the tongue, and the glands. First off, the teeth contain the nerves and the blood. Humans typically have about 30 to 32 teeth. They allow us to chew better, break down our food so it's easier to swallow. The tongue allows us to taste. It has taste buds, and this also allows us to swallow and allows us to move around the food in our mouth. Now, our salivary glands are made up of water, mucus, and an enzyme called amylase. This amylase breaks down wheat and starch. The mouth's main function is to moisten the food and make it easier to swallow. As we can see, the tongue, the teeth, and the glands, they all work together to allow us to swallow. The teeth break down the food to smaller bits. The tongue moves the food around. And the glands also break down the food with amylase. This is a diagram of the esophagus. As you can see, it's a large tube-like structure that leads from your pharynx all the way down to the stomach. It's almost like a slide. The food slides down the esophagus all the way down to the stomach. Now, the food just doesn't slide down the esophagus voluntarily. There are muscle contractions called peristalsis that allow and push the food down the esophagus all the way to the stomach. So basically, the esophagus is just a connecting from the mouth all the way to the stomach. There's no digestion happening in the esophagus. It's just a connecting piece. Next up is the stomach. The stomach is a J-shaped organ found on the left side of the body. In the stomach, we find rugae. These are ridges in the stomach that are needed for digestion. Within the rugae, there are areas called gastric pits. Gastric pits contain cells which help break down food. First, we have the mucosa cell. This secretes mucus and protects the stomach, acting as a liner. Next, we have the parietal cell. This secretes hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is very, very strong. It can dissolve metal. This gives your stomach a pH between 1 and 3. Hydrochloric acid dissolves your food. Like I said, it dissolves metal. Next, we have the chief cell. This is an enzyme called pepsin that breaks down animal proteins, specifically animal proteins in the stomach. Gastrin is a chemical or a hormone that protects the stomach against hydrochloric acid. Like I mentioned, hydrochloric acid is very, very strong, and without the gastrin, it would burn right through you and you would die. When there's an open wound in your stomach, it's called an ulcer. These are caused by flesh-eating bacteria and stress. Here we have the most important organ of the digestive system, the small intestine. The small intestine measures up to 20 feet long. The duodenum is a part of the small intestine that is directly connected to the stomach. The small intestine is actually longer than the large intestine. The large intestine is just a little bit thicker and wider. The small intestine needs help in digesting food from other accessory organs. In the small intestine, we can find chyme, bile, pancreatic enzymes, intestinal enzymes, and buffers. These protect against acid. All of these chemicals complete chemical digestion so that the food is made into nutrients and solid wastes. The main two functions of the small intestine are to complete chemical digestion so the food is made up and into solid waste. Also, the small intestine contains small projections called villi that transport nutrients throughout your body. The pancreas is an organ located behind the stomach in the left side of your abdomen. The pancreas plays an essential role in converting the food we eat into fuel for our cells. The pancreas helps in digestion and regulate blood sugar. The pancreas contains exocrine glands that produce important enzymes for digestion. These enzymes include trypsin, chemotrypsin to digest proteins, amylase for the digestion of carbohydrates, and lipase to break down fats. When food enters the stomach, these pancreatic juices are released into a system of ducts that accumulate in the main pancreatic duct. The pancreatic duct joins the common bile duct to form the ampulla of Vater, which is located at the first portion of the small intestine called the duodenum. The common bile duct originates in the liver and the gallbladder. It produces an important digestive juice called bile. The pancreatic juices and the bile that are released into the duodenum help the body digest fats, carbohydrates, and proteins.
What is the liver? The liver is another major organ in our body. The liver is the second biggest organ besides the skin in our body. The liver weighs around 3 pounds and is located above the stomach as seen. It is a reddish brown color. What are the main functions in the liver? The liver has over 500 vital functions for the body. The main function of the liver is to break down poisonous substances in our bodies. This includes drugs or alcohol. It filters blood. All the blood leaving the stomach and intestines passes through the liver, which removes toxins, byproducts, and other harmful substances. Bile production is another important function. Bile is a fluid that is critical to the digestion and absorption of fats in the small intestines. It is essential in resisting infections. That is another part of the liver, another function. As part of the filtering processes, the liver also removes bacteria from the bloodstream. This means that it is key in fighting against infections and different diseases that can come your way. Lastly, another important function of the liver is that it stores vitamins and minerals. The liver stores significant amounts of vitamins A, D, E, K, and B12, as well as iron and copper. This allows for our body to keep these vitamins and minerals in our systems and to use them properly. What is the gallbladder? The gallbladder is a very small pouch that is right under the liver as seen. It is known as the storage organ. Though it is a very small organ, it plays an important role in the digestive system. Like discussed in the previous organ, the liver, the gallbladder holds the product of the liver, or otherwise known as the bile. The bile is a fluid that helps the body digest fats. The gallbladder is the organ that holds the bile produced in the liver. The gallbladder releases the bile when it is needed to digest the fatty foods in our body. A serious issue that occurs with the gallbladder is most commonly known as gallstones. For unclear reasons, substances in bile can crystallize into these. Common and usually harmless gallstones can sometimes cause pain, nausea, or inflammation. Lastly, bile helps digest fats, but the gallbladder itself is not essential. Removing the gallbladder an otherwise known healthy individual typically causes no problems with health or digestion, yet there may be a small risk of diarrhea.
Next, we have the large intestine. This is also known as a colon. The large intestine, being 6 feet long and only 2 inches in diameter, is divided up into 4 sections: the ascending colon, transverse colon, the descending colon, and the sigmoid colon. The function of the large intestine is to carry the solid waste to the rectum for excretion. Also, the large intestine absorbs most of the water that was used during digestion back to the bloodstream. If there's too much water absorbed, then you are constipated. If there's not enough water absorbed, then you have diarrhea. Next, in the large intestine, there's a bacteria that digests plant proteins in order to make vitamin K. Vitamin K helps with blood clotting produced by the body, and some B vitamins as well.
What is the appendix? The appendix is a pouch of tissue that is 4 inches long. The appendix is a vestige of the body. The reason and function of the appendix is still unknown because it has no medical reason for its presence. The only issue that can occur is appendicitis. Doctors typically remove an appendix if it becomes inflamed and painful. This can be very dangerous and harmful for someone, so seek medical attention immediately. What is the rectum? Stemming from the large intestine is the rectum. The rectum is one of the final parts of the digestive system organs. The rectum is the tail end of the large intestine and connects it to the anus. What is the main function of the rectum? The main function of it is that it holds feces or poop of the human body. Once feces or gas is released to the rectum, it triggers sensors that are sent to the brain. The brain decides whether it is time to be released or not, and this decides if you need to poop or not. If they can, the muscles relax and the rectum contracts, disposing of its contents. If the contents cannot be disposed of, the muscle contracts and the rectum accommodates so that the sensation temporarily goes away. But, as you may know, it'll come back. What is the anus? The anus is the last part of the digestive system and is found after the rectum and large intestine. It is about 2 inches long, and diameter can depend on who it is. It is a 2-inch long canal consisting of the pelvic floor muscles and the 2 anal muscles, internal and external. The lining of the upper anus is able to detect rectal contents. It lets you know whether the contents are liquid, gas, or solid. The anus is the anal canal in which our stool or gases come out of. The anus is also responsible for keeping our stool inside of our bodies until we are able to release it. It has the muscles and nerves that allow the body to keep it in. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more information on the digestive system.